Hey, Rod here at East Coast Lumberjack. I know that everybody's waiting for part 4, which in our series that we're doing on the best wood, hardwood for axe handles. And it's coming right up. I'm tallying the data right now. I taught statistics at college, and I have a bit of a math and computer background, so I like playing with numbers a lot. So I want to give you a little bit of detail on what percentages there are between how close the different handles are as far as growth ring size goes, and also as far as the grain cross handle with the grain width handle and how they all stood up. So I've got those numbers almost ready to go. That'll be hopefully up next weekend. But in the interim, I wanted to talk to you a little bit more, just a couple pointers, I guess, and show you where we send a lot of our handles. There's so what I'm doing right now, I have an order headed for the States, and it's hickory wood. And we went over last week, hickory has some of the best qualities as far as strength, endurance, elasticity, all that stuff. Hickory wood is really, it's a phenomenal wood. And I've been securing it now from the States for the last 5 or 6 years. I've got an order, a load once from Don Quigley. And anyone that's been around the lumberjack world, timber sports, knows Don. He was a professor at the University of New Hampshire, great guy. He has a woodlot in New Hampshire, and it's almost as far north as hickory grows. And he invited me down, had a great meal there at his place, and my son Nathan and I secured some hickory from him. It was in the spring of the year, so the sap was running, and we basically, once the trees were on the ground and we cut them up, you just hit one end with the maul, and basically it just spit right out through the bark on the other end. So peeling it was really nice. The only problem with that was, though, with hickory, because hickory is such a dense wood. It is ring porous, but it's a very dense wood. It's one of the densest woods we have, even though it's not diffuse porous. And what happened was, because it dried so quickly on the outside, I had a lot of lateral checks in the wood. The stuff that kept the bark on, or that we had hidden a little bit better, actually seasoned a lot better. So hickory's kind of tricky when you're using it. It takes about a year for it to dry, and what I do, I split my handle bolts out by hand, and then of course I stack it in the barn and in the garage, and then let it air dry slowly over months at a time. So this wood here, the last few years with COVID, of course, you can't get across the borders and everybody's been shut down. So I had to find a place in Canada that had wood, and I did find an outfit in Quebec. They make hardwood flooring, and they had some beautiful hickory wood. So I got one of the managers out there to actually pick me out some nice logs, some veneer logs. And my daughter and I, Katie, took a trip out last year and secured a pile of 12 logs out there from them. Split them all up by hand. So that's where this stuff here comes from. And it's really nice stuff now that it's dried out. So I made a few different handles for this person, Fredrickson. He wanted a octagonal handle. So this was one of the octagonals we made him out of hickory. He wanted a speed axe handle. So this is the Aussie speed axe handle, or racing axe handle. That's really what I cut my teeth on. We put actually I should show you one of those while I'm right here at the bench. Hang on, I'll show you what we swing, what we play around with. I know a lot of you guys mess around with axes. We do too. We've got quite a number of them here. So this is out of my son Nathan's axe box. Don't tell him I got it. So this is one of the axes that we swing here. Okay, this is a Tuatahi axe. Comes from New Zealand, Eddie Fawcett in Masterton, New Zealand. I've been actually buying these from Eddie Fawcett for 30 years. I think 1988 was the first one I got from him. I actually bought it from Bailey's mail order catalog back in the day from the U.S. And you can see here, these things are razor sharp, and I mean razor sharp. You can shave with them. They're that sharp. A lot of people think that they're stainless steel, but they're actually polished to this kind of a finish. And I've got a machine behind me. In a few weeks, I'll do a video on some of my neat machines here I have in the shop. But this is what we swing. So this is a 5-pound monster. It's basically a 5-pound razor blade. It'll peel the skin right off you. See that? I mean, it's unreal sharp. So what we use for these handles, actually I'll put that back in this box. So this one here was finished. Actually, I give a shout out to not only Ed Fawcett, but Faave Sefo. He's the one that finished this axe for Nathan. It's he calls it an 8x8. It's a banana grind. He likes it. This is the axe of choice for the beautiful wood that they chop over in Europe that hopefully we get back to and are able to chop. So let me put this away before I drop it or do something foolish and wind up buying another $1,000 axe for them. So that's a handle that we put in those. So it's really good for large axes. It's got a big palm swell, so it's a really nice grip. And then the last one I made, this is the Moore, the new pattern I have. I got the axe handle pattern from my good buddy down on the Nevers Road, and it turned out really nice. It's a nice. This one here was a vintage handle that he wanted, so it's really thin, 0.76 of an inch thick, right around 1.6, 1.7 inches wide, and it's got that nice flare at the end. Man, it fits your hand beautifully. Now, what I wanted to say, when you're messing around with hickory, what I found is, because I ship handles, actually I'll show you that right now. I ship handles all over the place. Here's a map of the states, and you can see the red dots here in Canada. That's all the different places in Canada that I've shipped handles to, and of course this map is mostly the US. I want to get in all the states if I can. So basically, you know, everywhere from Florida, the four corners, basically Texas, and then across here to California, lots in Los Angeles, San Diego, and then up in Washington, in Seattle, all across the Midwest, Minneapolis. That's my buddy out there, Vintage Axe Revival. And then, of course, the Northeast here as well, and up in New Brunswick where I'm from. So just so you know where New Brunswick is at, this is New Brunswick up here. So it's at the top of Maine. So when you're sending handles all over North America like that, just hook these up again. Make sure I get some power here. People experience different relative humidity. So obviously in Texas, I've sent a fair number of handles down to Texas around Austin and Dallas, and the weather there is a lot less humid than it is here in New Brunswick. So what I do, I take some BLO, some boiled linseed oil, get it at your local hardware store, dab some on a rag, and then I seal the ends. Okay, so I'll put that boiled linseed oil on the ends. So any of you guys that are messing around with handles at all and taking them from one place to another, boiled linseed oil is a great way to keep them from checking on the ends. So, and again, that doesn't mean your wood's bad or anything. What it is, it's a rapid change or dramatic change in relative humidity. So most of my handle wood, I like to play around with it between 12 and 16% moisture content. That's usually what it is here. And then of course when I ship it out, you get to some place like Texas, it could be 6-8% moisture down there, relative humidity. So that abrupt change, or even in travel, will sometimes cause handles to split. So I like to do that just to keep them safe. So anyhow, that's a little bit on what I do to keep a little tip for you to keep your handles from checking. Boiled linseed oil is good to use to protect them from a lot of things. And actually it keeps your handle nice, and you keep the natural wood feel to it. So that's my plug for boiled linseed oil. I don't have a share in the company or nothing, but it is just a good product to use on your handles. So again, this is the filler for this week, but coming up next week, part 4 on which handle wood's best, grain with the eye or grain across the eye. And we'll be doing that one up and posting it next week, hopefully. Till then, East Coast Lumberjack signing off.